Welcome to Drop or Dive. This is the series where I watch the first 3 episodes of an anime and decide if I'm going to drop it or dive into it. And today we have Sabikui Bisco, or Rust Eater Bisco. And Rust Eater Bisco takes place in a post-apocalyptic Japan. Now, personally, when I think of apocalypse, I think of maybe a nuclear apocalypse or a zombie apocalypse. Could also be natural disasters or maybe an alien landing. But none of those are the case for this anime. What makes this world post-apocalyptic? Rust. Rust. What's so bad about rust? It just happens to metal, right? No. In this world, rust can affect living and non-living things. There are some characters in this world that are affected by rust where you can clearly see half their face is a brown color, and the real threat is the rust progresses on the body. And if it's just affecting your arm or your leg or something, it's not a huge deal, but it keeps going closer and closer to your internal organs. And if that rust gets to your heart, it will kill you. There's no cure for this rust, but apparently moving around makes the rust progress faster. So if you get affected by the rust, the best thing to do is to try to move as little as possible and stay in bed. But most people have to go out and work even if they are affected by the rust. They're out there doing their manual labor job while this rust is slowly creeping towards their heart to kill them. All of Japan looks like a desert, but instead of sand, it's rust. And it's a very arid, dry land, but there's different outposts throughout the land. And these cities have massive walls around them to keep the rust wind away. But these cities aren't really a pleasant place to live. The cities are very dirty. And another very weird thing about this world is the vehicles. For example, multiple characters ride around on a giant crab. And this crab seems much bigger than a very large pickup truck. Also, there's hippos with turrets mounted on them and a helicopter with a snail face. Oh, and also there's rideable iguanas. And by that I mean there are literally iguanas that are the size of horses that the police ride on. I think it's a very weird and ambitious choice to have this post-apocalyptic Japan and then these giant iguanas and crabs that people ride on. Speaking of giant crab, who is the person riding said crab? Well, our main character, Bisco. He is one of our 2 main protagonists in this story, and his nickname is the Man-Eating Redcap. Bisco is a mushroom keeper, and what that is someone who harnesses the power of mushrooms. In the first 3 episodes, his powers and abilities aren't really explained that much. The general idea of his power is he has a bow and arrow, and when he shoots that arrow, wherever it lands, mushrooms will sprout. So far in the series, it's been shown that he's able to pretty much choose what type of mushroom is going to grow where that arrow lands. Sometimes it's an arrow to destroy a building or to block a path, and other times it's an arrow that is the size of a 10-story building. And because of these powers, he is branded as an outlaw by the Japanese government for mushroom terrorism. Bisco is a hot-headed young man, but has shown to have a soft side as well and really care about the people close to him. The one goal he has is to find this mythical legendary mushroom called the Rust Eater mushroom, and he wants this mushroom to be able to save his father figure and mentor Jabi, who is affected by the rust, and the only way that Jabi isn't gonna succumb to the rust is for Bisco to find this mushroom. So he sets off on this journey across Japan. And this is a race against time, so Bisco has to find this mushroom as soon as possible. So that's why Bisco is taking a straight path to where he thinks that mushroom's going to be. And it just so happens he has to go straight through this city. And being a wanted criminal with a huge bounty on your head, they're not just going to let you into a city. So, of course, Bisco has to break in. And break in he does. And this is where he meets our second main protagonist, Milo, or Panda Sensei. And he is a medical genius who runs a clinic in this city. Throughout the first couple episodes, you see Milo taking care of people for free, especially the less fortunate. He's been shown to be a very caring person. But he does have a dark side, at least in the eyes of the government. He makes experimental medicine using illegal ingredients, mainly mushrooms that he buys from the ramen shop out back. And what drives Milo to risk experimenting with these illegal ingredients is that his sister, the one person he cares about the most in the entire world, is affected with Rust. And as of right now, the best Milo can do is just keep her alive and try to prevent that Rust from progressing. And as you can see, we have two main protagonists, and the person that each of them care about the most in the entire world is about to die from Rust. And I don't know about you, but that seems like a great reason for these two wonderful characters to team up. And team up they shall in this beautiful world brought to us by OZ, or Oz. Due to the fact that this is this studio's first work, I don't know exactly what their name is. And going into it, I was very concerned about the quality of the visuals, because the only thing I had seen is a little few-minute preview, which looked amazing. But sometimes studios will outsource their previews, therefore the preview doesn't really reflect what the finished product's gonna be. But honestly, OZ is really doing a phenomenal job. If you did not know going into this anime that this was the studio's first work, you never would have thought it would be. The visuals are great and crisp. The action is beautiful and great choreography. The action scenes feel intense. The world feels alive and lived in. Even the CGI that is used on the giant crab and some of the other vehicles or large animals, I guess, honestly isn't that bad. Sometimes CGI in anime can be a little distracting for me personally, but in this anime, I don't have an issue with it at all. So over the first 3 episodes, the visuals and animation studio went from being something I was very concerned about to honestly a giant plus for this series. And I'm very excited to see what other series Oz gets their hands on, because I'm sure whatever they get licensed to produce is going to look great. But as we both know, visuals aren't everything. Another very important part of an anime is the audio. And I believe that the audio is where this anime really shines. The opening is an intense J-rock banger that really sets the tone for each episode. The opening really fits this anime perfectly in my opinion. And then the ending song is actually sang by the voice actor for Bisco. And I'm a big fan of voice actors singing either the opening or the ending song, but sometimes it sounds a little off. But boy, did this voice actor ever kill this ending. I didn't know it was the voice actor until I did research for this video, and I'm absolutely blown away by how good it sounds. There's a lot of anime that have good openings and good endings, but where this anime sets itself apart is the music that's in the middle of the episodes. I won't spoil it, but in episode 3, there's this giant, amazing, epic moment. And visually, it looks great. But on top of just the visuals, you hear this roaring metal song that just gets your entire body hyped for this moment. And that was the moment I was like, wow, the music in this series really is a whole nother level. With all that being said, I'm sure it's no surprise if you've watched this entire video that I am absolutely going to dive into this series. So far, I am enjoying everything about this series. The characters are very enjoyable and feel unique. The world feels very unique and interesting to me. I've never seen this spin on a post-apocalyptic world. The music is great. The visuals are great. I am so excited to see where this series goes. My one concern is I know little to nothing about the source material, but I feel confident that if that source material is good, and to get an anime you have to be at least some level of decent, I honestly think that Rust Eater Bisco could go down as one of the anime of the season. If you want more amazing anime content, down in the description is going to be my TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. Click right here to see my latest video. Click right here to see the video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the most. Click right up here to see a playlist of all my other Drop or Dive content. And as always, have a great rest of your day.